This here is going to change the trajectory of your life. And I say that because I am living proof of it. Now, before we get started, I have two actionable steps you can take right away. The first step is I want you to go ahead and take out a sheet of paper because you're going to want to write this down. And step number two is like, comment, and share. And if you're not following this page, go ahead and subscribe to this page now as I share more about how to heal naturally, mind, body, spirit, and emotion. How many times have you started working on something and stopped? Like you could not find that consistency. You got to the point of creating the steps and you were showing up, but then for some reason you fell off. Think of New Year's resolutions. It happens often. Everyone's so hyped up, we're ready to go, we're ready to get to this next step. And what happens around February, March, we fall off. So there's something that we've all been missing. I shared this with you. I told you it's going to change the trajectory of life because it's changed mine. I was missing this step. I was missing this thing that was keeping me on that journey from staying consistent. So we all think starting is the hardest thing. Starting is most definitely a challenge, but what's really challenging is that consistency. And my life, I thought I was living this fabulous life. Things were coming, the money was there, everything was flowing, but realistically, I had no direction here, no space to where I was going. So I was not getting the next step and adding on top of each other for the foundation. So, with that being said, let's talk about what you're more than likely missing as you're taking your journey forward. And here's what I noticed that many people are missing. And I share this and I ask this question on my coaching calls. And this is the first thing we do on an initial phone call together. So, if you decide that you're going to jump on a call with me, this is what I cover as well. Now, let's talk about this. This is something that you might be missing in your life that's preventing you from staying consistent on your journey. So here we go. This is a thing I would like to point out. Now you might be like, I have direction. And sometimes we have false direction. We have direction that's not keeping us going toward the goal that we want. We're actually taking steps that's opposite of it, thinking we're taking the right steps. But this is something that we're majority of people are missing. And we're going to go to two different things right now. Something you could get out, that sheet of paper we talked about. You're going to have your sheet of paper. We're going to go through this process and we're going to finalize it toward the end. Now, here's where majority of people were having this problem is I didn't as well, is that I always point out what I didn't want. I don't want debt. I don't want to feel like this in my body. I don't want to be overweight. That's where we're pointing out the wrong things. Many people know more about what they don't want than what they do want. So when I ask this question about what is it you absolutely, truly want, a lot of times people, they hesitate, they pause, they stutter because they don't know. And then for some reason, even when I ask that question, what is you want, they still point out what they don't want. So what I want you to do is you're gonna get out a sheet of paper that we talked about, and we're gonna talk about what it is that you want to experience. So the first thing is you're gonna want to write the what. What do I want to experience? And you're going to write this down. Mind you, this is going to be a rough draft. You're going to write down what it is that you want to experience. And when we go into the space of what we want to experience, we want to make sure we're going toward what we want to experience. And here's the thing that I'm talking about. So when I point out that most people point out what they don't want, we have problems and we have solutions. So what do we want to experience? And like I said, we have a problem, which I'm going to put as an X here in red. And we have a solution, which I'm going to put as an O. I'm not going to circle around the O. We're going to put it as an O here. So we have a problem, we have a solution. So a lot of times where direction is pointing in the wrong direction, because there's a saying that goes, or a paradigm that goes, where your attention goes, energy flows. So I want you to consider this. You have a goal. And we talked about this before. You have this goal, which is the what it is that you want. And let's say, for instance, you have a goal that's going, you're saying you're going towards here, but your thought process is running away from this problem. I don't want to feel heavy in my body anymore. We're talking about what we don't want to feel. So you're saying you're wanting this, but you're still feeling this here. You're still feeling the energy of what you don't want. And let's say, for instance, we have a solution, and we have a solution, and our solution is going toward the goal with the actual feeling of the solution. There's a difference. There's an energy shift that's here. So our masculine, which is the what that we want, and our why, of course, is the feeling. So as we figure out what is that we want to go toward, we have to make sure we're going toward it and not running away from something. So that is the important part of this. A lot of people are shifting their energy from what does they want, but they stay stuck in the hurt, the trauma, the pain, and they're wondering why they can't stay consistent. If I'm attempting to get to my goal and I'm still feeling like it's not working, there's doubts, it's not happening, I'm stuck in my trauma base. I'm stuck in the negative aspect of it all, and I'm carrying that energy and I'm not allowing myself to feel into the solution. Think of it like Lot's wife when it says to look forward and don't look back. What happened to Lot's wife? She turned to a pillar of sand. Sometimes that's the same thing happening to you. You are attempting to move forward with the negative thoughts, negative process, negative programming, and what that is causing you is to be inconsistent, being indecisive of making your decisions because now you have turned to a pillar of sand. So this is what we want to make sure. So your what is important, but here's the next that's most important. This part is really important toward getting to the consistency and getting to where they go with the direction you need. So we have the what. Now we want to step into our feminine energy. Why? Why do you want that? Why do you want to experience that? And is it coming from this space, or is it going towards somewhere where you want to be at? You're looking toward the future and not saying, hey, I'm stuck there. So why do you want to experience that? So Neville Goddard, he's a gentleman who talks about the feeling is a secret. Now with that, it's what do you want as your masculine? This is what I'm wanting to experience. Why am I wanting to experience? Why do I want to make sure you have that why in it? Because if there's no emotional attachment to it, what's going to cause you to stay consistent? This is the whole thing of direction, which is also known as purpose, definiteness of purpose. So I want you to write down your why. So now that you have your what, now that you have your why, here's the part. This is the part that you are in control of. The part that you're in control of is what I am willing to give or exchange to experience my what and why. So here's what you're in control of. It's what the energy you're willing to give. And I like to look at it as energy because this is your exchange. So anyone says, I'm just manifesting, I don't have to do anything. Faith without work is dead. Even if you're manifesting, you have to meditate. That is a form of an action of energy you're giving. So the same thing, what is it you're willing to give? So now that you have your what, your why, and what you're willing to give, the energy shift that you're going to exchange it for, because you're not going to get it for nothing. You want to pour into this energy, but it's something you want to do toward going to the solution and not away from your problem. Don't run away from the problem. Go toward your solution. Now, here's the thing. Here's the part that you're going to take note of. Go ahead and get out an index card. You're going to write down your final draft. This is your rough draft. Your final draft of what it is that you want, why do you want it, and what you're willing to give on the back of the index card. The other part of this is you're going to write it in present tense. Do not write it as I want to experience this. I have. I am. That's how you want to write it. You want to write it in present tense, and you're going to carry this index card with you everywhere for the next 90 days. And you're going to start seeing how your life transforms because now you have direction, something that's there in front of you of what do you want, what do you want, why do you want it, and what you're willing to exchange for that. Now, don't go sell your soul for this. Make sure you're staying the course. It's not going to be an easy course. It's going to take time. It's going to take effort. But that energy shift that you're pouring into this, you're going to see it happen faster, more sustainable. It's going to last so much longer. It's going to change the trajectory of your life. Once again, it has changed mine. Here's what I want you to do now. I want you to go ahead and comment below that I completed the index card. And I say this because I'm giving you this knowledge. And we have this misconception that knowledge is power. That's a false statement, and we've been going around ignorantly saying this. Applied knowledge is power. Applied knowledge is power. So I want to see that you've done this work. And if you want to take a step further, if you know that you're ready to jump and take that leap, what I want you to do is I want you to click that link down in the description, set an appointment with me, have a call. You and I are a one-on-one call to see where you are in your journey, see where you want to be, and see how far that gap is, and see what I can do to help you get to that next step. Follow along. Our next video we're going to be talking about is our nervous system, how we get ourselves into alignment, so this way we could be ready for any and everything.